Brandon Miller has already proven himself as one of the brightest rising stars in the NBA. Unfortunately, Miller plays for what's been widely considered the NBA's worst franchise ever, the Charlotte Hornets. And the Hornets weren't that much better last season either, with a record of 19-63, mainly because they were decimated by injuries, including Miller's torn wrist. But this upcoming NBA season, there's a lot of optimism around the Hornets, and Brandon Miller's return is at the center of it. Coming off a career-high 21 points per game in year 2, the question is, can Brandon Miller save the NBA's worst franchise? How's it going, my friend? I'm Alexander from Load Management Media, and let's talk about it. In 2023, when Brandon Miller was drafted to the Charlotte Hornets, he was once considered the wrong draft choice by some when Scoot Henderson was available. But within the first month of his NBA career, he shifted the scales in his favor. And going into year 3, those notions have been fully put to bed. In 2 years with the Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Miller has been exactly the kind of player that's evaded their franchise for so long, an all-star level wing. In his rookie season, Miller exceeded all expectations. He averaged 17 points and 4 rebounds, shooting a blistering 37% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. His high-level three-point shooting and shot creation were things Hornets fans probably haven't seen at the wing position since Glenn Rice or Eddie Jones back in the 90s. And in year 2, he made another jump, averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. His efficiency took a bit of a dip, but he had a lot of responsibility to kind of do everything, especially when LaMelo was out with his injuries. He still managed to knock down 36% of his threes though, on a ridiculous 11 attempts a game. While the number jumps themselves were great, watching back the tape, I was more impressed with the specific areas that he took a leap in. Coming into the league, surprisingly, there were some concerns about his athleticism and finishing around the bucket. Especially this year, he blew that out of the water off of pure eye test. Some of the dunks he threw down this year were absolutely disgusting. There's like 5 or 10 slams he had this year where you were like, whoa, where did that come from? And the numbers back this up too. Brandon Miller shot 68% in the restricted area, which is really good. 41% in non-restricted area paint is not great, but is acceptable considering how great he is in the restricted. Another area I saw strengthen was in his relationship with LaMelo Ball. In year 2 for B-Mill, you really saw LaMelo connecting with him on a lot of lobs and getting Miller open for a lot of three-point looks as well. Although they haven't really been on the court together as much as they should have because of injuries for both, considering they've literally only played 39 games together in 2 years, their connection is pretty strong. Unfortunately, Miller's year 2 progress was cut short after 27 games because of that wrist ligament injury, but Miller will be back for the start of this upcoming 25-26 NBA season with the wrist, according to reports. While LaMelo Ball is fairly considered the franchise player, he's been there for seasons already and he can't do it alone. The ability for the Hornets to take this next step hinges on if Brandon Miller can do the same. So, can Brandon Miller really do it? I think this season Brandon Miller can take the Hornets to the playoffs and make that all-star jump. But it'll also be due to the reinforcements that the Hornets have brought in this offseason. I really like the offseason that the Charlotte Hornets have had. Not every draft or free agency is one where you bring in the most glamorous names, but that doesn't mean that they aren't effective. The Hornets draft with Con Knipple, Liam McNeely, Sion James, and Ryan Kalkbrenner is one that brings in a lot of stability to this roster. These guys are all good players in their own right, 100%, but more players that can complement Brandon Miller and LaMelo, which is perfect when you have those two franchise guys. And the free agency additions like Colin Sexton, Spencer Dinwiddie, and bringing back Trey Mann add much needed actual NBA depth off the bench, but they don't take away from the development of their core guys either. And let's not forget they have real core pieces coming back from injury other than LaMelo and Brandon Miller. Grant Williams is coming back, another guy who knows what it takes to win, and Josh Green as well is another guy who had a really solid year. The addition of the new guys in the draft, the free agency moves, and the returning players from injury all will help take weight off of Brandon Miller's shoulders in areas he doesn't need. And they'll allow him to focus and improve on his core areas, getting more consistent in his scoring game, mainly in the mid-range, and becoming a high-level defensive player. Brandon Miller has already become a real NBA talent at a young age, but in year 3, his rise is going to save the Charlotte Hornets from mediocrity and put them in the playoff picture for many years to come. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more stories on the most interesting young players in the NBA related world. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.